Hey folks, this is Kyle Grossmiller from Pure. Welcome back to the final part 4 of our VMware Cloud Foundation SmartConfig FlashStack automation demo video series. In this one, we've already gone through the steps of standing up our FlashStack, and now we're going to talk about how to use workload domains with Pure Storage. Primarily here, we'll give an example of using principal storage as well as supplemental storage with Pure Storage. The principal option that we will use will be VMFS on Fiber Channel. If you recall, during the deployment phase of SmartConfig, we actually set up a shared volume. We're going to use that volume here. It was a 10 terabyte volume. And as you can see, it's available on these ESXi hosts because of SmartConfig's automatic deployment of it. Here we can see there it is. It's available to that host. You would want to make sure it's available in any additional hosts that you're going to commission. And we're going to go ahead and do that here. We'll use the VMFS on FC storage type. We have a separate pool set up for vMotion, and then we just give root username and password. And as you can see, and I'll go ahead and skip ahead here to add the additional 4 hosts, but as you saw in the previous section, we actually did all the pre-work automatically through PowerShell and an ESXi kickstart script to get all these steps set up. So now it's just super easy to bring these in, commission them, and then start to deploy them in a workload domain, which is what we'll do here. So again, VMFS on FC is our storage type. This is something new in VCF4, is you can either do your updates through VUM or Lifecycle Manager. We're going to use this for Kubernetes eventually, which is why I selected that first option. We'll go ahead and input, again, some of our pre-populated FQDNs and IP addresses for vCenter. We'll do that here, and then we'll move on to NSXT. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just so we don't bore you. But obviously, you're setting up NSXT Manager, and then all of the 3 different nodes that it uses to manage itself. So we'll quickly step through this. And again, all of these DNS entries and IP addresses should be allocated before going to this phase. The next section, you'll see that we will input the VMFS on Fiber Channel data store that we created earlier on in this video on that ESXi host. So we'll go ahead and enter that in here. And then we'll see that it has been set up on all 4 of the hosts that we want in this management domain, or excuse me, in this workload domain. I will skip showing you my licenses. And then as we can see on review here, everything's ready to go, our naming convention, our hosts, and of course our fiber channel storage. So this is an example of using a workload domain with principal storage because the storage was defined during the setup wizard of the workload domain. Skipping ahead again, here we can see our workload has been deployed. It typically takes about an hour to do that. We'll go ahead and get into our vCenter server. And now what I'm going to do is install the Pure Storage vSphere Web Client plugin. This plugin we are going to use to set up vVols as supplemental storage. So really the only difference between principal and supplemental is that supplemental storage is storage that we will be adding to our workload domain post-deployment from SDDC Manager. So here I'm connecting to my new workload domain vCenter instance with PowerShell. And then I'm going to install our vSphere plugin via PowerShell. This is definitely the recommended way to do it, certainly the easiest. We can see it's installed and deploying there. If we refresh the GUI, now we can see that Pure Storage plugin is available on our workload domain vCenter. We'll go ahead and add that same backing array, Pure Storage array we've been using this entire time. You'll notice that we really haven't gone to the GUI on Pure Storage at all during this demo, except at the very beginning just to show it was there. And then we'll register our storage provider, register our Vasa storage provider with a Pure vVols username. And that's against our workload domain. So now that our storage provider has been registered, we can go ahead and right-click on our workload domain cluster, go to the Pure Storage option, create data store, and now we will select the vVol type. We'll give it a name. We'll call it SmartConfig vVols. We'll attach it to this SmartConfig cluster, the SmartConfig array that we set up earlier. Everything's already been set up from a Vasa registration perspective. And here we can see not only do we have a VMFS on FC data store, but also our SmartConfig vvol as well. That's it. I appreciate you all watching the demo. Please check out the Pure Storage VMware Platform Guide for more information. Thank you.